Yo, what is up everybody? It's Peace. Welcome to another video. So, I took Tenpai Sky Striker to locals and it performed amazingly. I only had 2 losses out of all 4 rounds, and you can see those on the channel. There were some misplays that I did. I misplayed by not playing a certain card in the deck that I will tell you about in the video of the deck profile. And then there was another scenario where I misplayed, but I'll speak about that. There are going to be some changes to this deck. I want to revamp this because this has a lot of potential. But this was my first time playing any Tenpai variant, and this deck is so cool. So, I started off with 3 Pydra, 3 Chandra, and 2 Fadra. Genroku would be really good in this deck. I don't own one. Emmanuel said he would let me borrow one, but I didn't manage to get to his house in time before the tournament to add it in there. But definitely you want to run 1 Genroku in this strategy. It just gives the deck so much more. And then the last monster of the deck is the 1 Bestial Magnamut. This is honestly cuttable. But I mean, it's even better when you have a Genroku in the deck because you search during end phase and special summon it and do all those shenanigans. So that's all the monsters, just 9 monsters in the whole 40 card deck. Next up, spells. So you have your 3 Sangan Kaiman. This is your special summon from your deck during the battle phase or add it to your hand during the main phase. And then the field spell, Sangan Summoning, which is at 1. So in order to get that field spell, we do play Terraforming to search it out. We do play Set Rotation as another way to get it out. Your target for set rotation is the way where there's a will, which is awesome. I got to resolve this for a few excavations, and I was able to add something and then put something back. Really powerful card. All right. Next up, the Sky Striker engine. So I opted to play 3 Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Very strong engine. The 1 Hornet Drones, the 2 Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor, the Shark Cannon for either banishing something or special summoning something for your opponent's graveyard, and then finally the Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburners. A card that I should play and that I will play in the next iteration of this deck is Jamming Waves, because it gives you the opportunity to search out a copy of a card that will destroy a face-down spell and trap card, because you're not always going to be able to have access to everything like all your spells engraved in order for Afterburners to actually destroy a back row. So you can just directly target a back row with that card. So I think it's definitely something that you should consider. Next up, just consistency. I opted to play 3 Upstart Goblin. So, Patrick, you're trying to OTK. Why are you playing a card that gives your opponent 1,000 life points? You can OTK your opponent through Prosperity, which halves all the damage. But Prosperity is at 1. Upstart Goblin gives you spells in graveyard and basically makes your deck more consistent. You do not care about the 1,000 life point gain that your opponent gets from this card. You just want to draw an extra free card to add more spells to your graveyard. Next up, Double Thrust. So Thrust is really good because this gets out your Engage from your deck. And usually, since you opt to go second, your opponent is going to activate monster effects, and they're going to have a monster on the field, so you get to add the target to your hand, which is really broken. Shout out to the Megatins for the second copy of Thrust. I only had 1 until I pulled my second one from the tins. To go with that, 1 Triple Tactics Talent. It's just a really good card all around. It's got 3 crazy effects that you can use. So I just use a 1 of that you can search off of Thrust if you already have access to your Engage. But that's really good. Change of Heart. So this can just deal with something that your opponent's doing right away and put a spell in your graveyard. So you activate it. It'll usually bait and negate because you don't really want monsters on your field. So you can honestly replace this with something. I might replace this with the Jamming Waves or something like that. But essentially, it just puts a spell in your grave and baits an opponent's negate. But if it goes through, you get to take your opponent's monster for that turn. Harper's Feather Duster and Double Lightning Storm. Hopefully, we can get Heavy Storm back as well. but these are the main deck back row removal that you have. This is at 1 and this is at 2, so you can't play any more. If you could play more, you would, because these cards are insane. It just clears off all the back row, and this deck kind of struggles against back row, so you definitely want to see these. Once you see this, you get to out your opponent's Floodgate. I was able to, round 1 against Sam the Destroyer of Peace, out his there can be only one Floodgate, and I was able to kill him through that, which was really nice. Next up, 3 Raigeki. So, this was my first misplay. This card is not once per turn, and you can activate it and destroy all monsters your opponent controls. I went up against first place champion Robert Kramer, and he was on Mimighoul, and he kept on giving me monsters face down on my field, and he had his field spell up, and I couldn't normal summon monsters or activate or battle with special summon monsters, so this should have actually been Dark Hole. So yeah, I'm definitely going to replace this with Dark Hole, because then I can clear my own monsters and then activate my Sky Striker cards way better. Finally, in the main deck, 3 Forbidden Droplet. I just needed to see this, but I didn't see it. I could have sent the monster off of my field, but I didn't see this when I was playing. Unfortunate. Extra deck next. So, 2 Bident Dragons, 1 Transcendent Dragon, and then finally the Trident Dragon. So this is just utilized for the OTK. Next up, utility. I played the 1 Black Rose Dragon, the 1 Moonlight Dragon, Quibelt, Samurai Destroyer, and Ready Rose. So these are all the synchros in the deck. The rest is just links. You really don't need very much besides these guys, honestly. Because the rest of your deck really, like, the engine just takes care of everything else that your opponent has on the field. Next up for the links, we do have the 1 Sky Striker Ace Kagari. You could also play a Hayate, but I opted for just the Kagari for this time around. Striker Dragon, just to make your SP live. And Heraldic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. This should definitely be a 2. The second one came up, so that's definitely a change that I would make. I opted to play Dark Charmer and Hida, but I don't own Princess. Honestly, you could cut the Dark Charmer. Hita's alright. I kind of missed like a Nightmare Phoenix type of card, but I don't play a lot of hand traps to normal summon, so that would only be good like in games 2 or 3, so maybe you could side like a Nightmare Phoenix. But honestly, the Charmers are not good in this specific strategy, because there's nothing really good to climb into except for your SP Little Knight, and you don't want to use its banish effect anyway, because then you can't attack directly, and sometimes Tenpai needs to attack directly to kill. Depending on how many monsters your opponent has. But the extra deck was all right. It's just I really wanted an extra seal, but a lot of this didn't come up. And then finally, the side deck. Shout out to the Sky Striker Ace token and the Nibiru token, and then the Megaton tokens. So we played 2 Nibiru. It could have been 3. This is mainly for like FTKs and stuff, but I don't want to have a monster on my board, so I opted for other ways to address some of those other concerns. I did play 2 other Bestials, speaking of putting monsters on board, just for like the light and dark matchups. Like Drytron, Gimmick Puppet FTK is running around at my locals. This also hits all the Fiendsmith cards as well, since they're all light. So this is just a no-brainer. Shifter. You can get away with playing Shifter, so just play it. I mean, it's broken. It doesn't matter if your Sky Striker spells get banished if you can just win. Now, Kawaki Meru Draco. This is the only non-hand trap card I have in my side deck, and it's essentially there. You can see the example in the matchup against Yubel Fiendsmith against Eric. I had this on the board, and because of my misplay, he won the game. I would have won if I had just read this card a little bit more. During the end phase, you need to reveal a dragon in your hand, or else this kills itself. It just destroys itself. So it destroyed itself, and he was able to full combo and kill me. But I had put this in because I knew he would make me go first, and I was able to summon it, and he could not do anything, and I was about to win. But unfortunately, I did not leave a dragon in my hand, and it died, and I lost. The 1 Moltrami Perulia that I own, it's just really good. You get to just draw a bunch of cards. You can draw into your other hand traps, or you can just set up a bunch of board breakers for your next turn. 3 Ash Blossom. Like I said, FTKs are running around, and this can just stop the turn depending on their hand. And because FTKs are running around, I really should have put this in game 3 against my Ubel Fiendsmith opponent, because he played a little bit conservatively, I'll say, thinking about all of his actions, and he summoned the big choo-choo train, Gustav Max, and burned me for 2,000 damage. But I guess I deserve it, because if I had a turn, it would be over that turn, but that deck can just go off for forever and ever and ever, and he just waited until the last second, and then he summoned his Gustav Max, and then continued to do full Fiendsmith combo after that. So yeah, the deck was awesome. This is going to improve, so keep an eye out for the new videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more.